Folks, welcome to an extraordinarily special edition in our interview series. This is the busiest man in real estate and needs no introduction. I don't know if he's quite got the #1 spot. We'll know in the next coming months. But a dude who did $330 million in volume in the last year, Marcus Chiminello. Dude, thanks for hanging out, man.
Glenn, it's a pleasure, as always.
Much appreciated, man. So, mate, tell us. We've got a bit of time with you, and I really appreciate it, mate, because I know how busy your schedule is. What sort of... Yeah, just so the guys can get a feel and understanding of who Marcus is, mate, what sort of life do you lead that results in numbers that to many of the crew would be unbelievable, like 300 plus million in volume? What sort of lifestyle and activities constitute your day? For those who haven't heard of the legend of Marcus,
it's an exceptionally busy one, as you've experienced, trying to pin me down here today. Exceptionally busy, but exceptionally efficient. And I think the busier I've become, the more efficient I've become to learn the art of delegation. That is critical, but also owning your time. I look at my diary today, I've got 13 commitments, and that's appointments, appraisals, presenting offers. So it's a busy day, but that is a typical day.
Wow.
So to give you an overview, my day would normally start somewhere around 5:30, 5:45, where it's usually in the gym, it's me time, it's health and fitness time, back home, time with the family. Then as soon as I get in the car, that is switch on time. I get in the car is the office to me. So I'm on the phone, continuing making calls from that point until I get into the office. Then it's usually administration time in the morning, making sure my team is ready for the day. If they need anything from me, because I can be hard to contact during the day, then I'm on the road again. So usually on the road, appointments, face-to-face meetings with best clients, open for inspections, private appointments, listing presentations, presenting offers, and then usually towards the tail end of the day, sort of after that sort of 6:30 mark, back in the office just to really round out the day, or perhaps round it out with a meeting with a client. And then look, two commitments I've made outside of my real estate is I always want to be there when the kids get up in the morning and when they're going to bed. And they're usually going to bed around 8 o'clock. So it's usually on the go from, call it 8 to 8.
Yeah, okay. And actually that sort of time frame reminds me of when I learned from our co-presenter at that event coming up, Amber Worshin. That was her deal, was 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. was that dollar productive time. And then outside of that was me time and gym time and admin time and all that sort of thing. So
absolutely.
It is interesting that successful people like yourselves do leave commonalities for us normal folk to follow.
Correct. I think the template of how they use a week is exceptionally similar. Though the dynamics might change from day to day, depending on where you operate and what type of business you run, but at the end of the day, the ingredients are almost the same in every successful agent. That's the thing. Common traits are always there.
Yeah. So tell us, with regards to planning of those days, because 13 appointments in a day doesn't just happen. So does that start the day before, after the kids go to bed, that there's a succinct plan and preparation period to make that, for you able to be mentally, go to this appointment, switch off from that, because the next one's in 15 minutes, and there must be an inordinate amount of preparation. Is that done by yourself, team, or a combination?
Combination. I always do a review every day of what's happened and then a planning of what's going to happen the following day. Though I do it the night before, I also then revise it in the morning. So before I walk out the door, while I'm sort of having a coffee at home, I'll look at my day. Is there anything else? Have I got everything in order? Or is there anything I need to call the office to have in preparation for me to collect before I head out? I've got the benefit now that I've built more structure around my team and built a slightly larger team than I did maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, for that support and that leverage, that I can call someone to perhaps meet me in an appointment with more information that I need. So as they call it, the wider the base, the higher the pinnacle. So I've built people under me in my team to ensure that the successes we have keep continually growing.
Wow, wow, fascinating, mate. And what does the team sort of makeup look like? Because I have a lot of my high guys, the guys who are truly aspiring to your level, but around the $500,000 up. Everywhere from up, we need a team from 500 up, in my opinion. So what's the makeup of a team that truly can support volumes that are either the top or close to the top in the country?
People often ask me, how many people have in your team? Do you have 7, 8, 9? I said, no, I couldn't do that, because you end up becoming a people manager, and that's not me. So it's myself and Nicole, who's been with me now for about 7 years. Nicole's almost become a buyer specialist to an extent, though over time is now a lead generator. just by almost by osmosis as well, because people that she's been in contact with over a period of time have returned to her to want to sell. So the dynamic of her role starting to change. Then we also have administration support and marketing support. So effectively there is the team of 4. There is, in the past 6 months, we've had the 5th, which another gentleman we've taken on, Matt, and his role was to come in as the apprentice, sort of the sales cadet, learning everything and doing a little bit of running around. And that the dynamics of our team have changed since about the start of financial year last year. So about the 1st of July. Before that, it was always myself and Nicole and one support. So it was a very small team. Now we've just tried to create, because we've had this sort of next level of growth, that we knew we needed to do one or two things: take more people on to create more time and more leverage, or not do as much. We weren't going to not do as much.
That's right, yeah. So with Matt's role, the learning role, the cadet role, so to speak, it's if it's not commonly known by everyone, it's certainly known by some that you started in the early days, on a minimum wage, and for a period of time, James Tostovan's cadet. Has that served you, that experience coming up from, in only 10 years, that it's been from go to the top of the game in under 10 years? Did that process as a student help you become a good leader? Without doubt, because a lot of those traits I learned early on are instilled in me, and still I call upon them every day. I remember my first day in real estate. I think I stuffed probably 500 envelopes and licked 500 envelopes, and I thought, this is not as exciting as as I thought. I've got him doing nothing to that extent. Really? No, that was my first day in real estate, and I thought, this is not very glamorous. I thought it'd be out having beautiful homes, and then so a lot of the traits, and I worked with another lady for the first 12 months, and then I was in the same office as James, and James then approached me and said, look, I'd love, because I approached James because he was doing training with his team, and I saw that happening, and I thought, I'd like to be a part of that. And I didn't know really the reputation or the status of James in a real estate matter. I was completely... You didn't know we all idolised him. No, not at all. So I was completely ignorant. So the ignorance is bliss. So most people probably wouldn't have asked him, but then I did ask. So I started going to those little sort of 7:30 catch-ups on a Wednesday morning where no one else was doing it. So he was going above and beyond. I thought, I'm learning so much here. And I started to perform well with the person I was working with. Probably didn't set the right traits for me with that person, but then the opportunity, James then asked, would you like to join my team? And it was, of course, yes. And then from then I worked with James for about 18 months, learning what he does. And I've taken a combination of that, because James and I run much different businesses. Right. Much different. So I used a lot of what he does, even today, instilled it into my business. I looked at other businesses, other agents around the area and what they did, and took bits and pieces that I felt that were really good for me and applied it to my business. A lot of it's plagiarism. But we're all guilty of that, bud. Absolutely. But I've evolved it and moulded it to my personality, my business and my marketplace, and it's worked. Wow. Yeah. Do you have time to fit in that phone call centric part of James's business? Was because his ability to be on the phone is legendary. Yeah, it is. Do you fit that in, or do you have more a marketing responsive thing where people come to you more than the outbound stuff, or is it combo? Or how's it work? A combo. So I'm still taking, as I said, things that I learned with James and still apply today. Majority of my business is referral business from people who know of people I've dealt with before. Way I run my week, Mondays is a no appointment day. Right. So Mondays is phone calls, predominantly from around 11 through to the end of the day, and I may bookend my day with appointments. First thing in the morning, I might have a catch up with someone, then have a team meeting. So team meeting in terms of my team, and then it's basically on the phone. So no appointments, so I can get as many calls done on a Monday, set my week up, and also try and capture anything from the weekend, so new opportunities. Then I said at the end of the day, I might bookend my day with some appointments. So Monday is very phone-centric day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is very much out. The longer I'm in the office, the less productive I am, because I know I shouldn't be here. I need to be face-to-face with people. My business is more face-to-face than James's. So I'm all about appointments, private inspections, those sort of things. So I do a lot of off-market opportunities, off-market deals. Friday is a split of the two. Depending on the level of commitments and how many appointments I've had, I might have a day of all appointments for Friday. I might have a morning of client nurture, so speaking to a lot of past purchasers, past vendors, and then an afternoon of appointments. So
Friday can be very much a hybrid day.
Wow. And so tell us, leading into, mate, how excited I am for the upcoming event. How is training, mentoring, you mentioned plagiarism, or however we word that, when we take things and model things that are working. What's been your journey in training, and what's your thoughts on, if someone's watching this thinking, oh, might come, might not, what's your thoughts on how that's fitted in to the legend you've created?
Oh, look, I'm a big believer in, and James instilled me with this thought that the more you learn, the more you earn. So I'm a massive believer in it. This year alone, I think I'm probably attending 4 or 5 independent conferences as a student, not as a speaker, because I'm a big believer in taking away those 1 or 2 things that I can refine my business. And I know at the moment it's a finely tuned machine, but tune it a little bit better than it's going at the moment, it's going to perform better. So a big believer in that. And I think attending like this upcoming event is critical. I think it's critical for anyone's successes moving forward that wants to take the next step, because obviously day one, you've got a lot of content in there from people that are actually doing it day to day, rather than people talking about it. Then the next day, obviously day 2, I think I'm speaking in the morning, and then you've got the draw cards come out. Josh Altman, that is amazing. And I'm
forever indebted, mate. For the guys who know, Marcus is the reason that Josh is coming out to hang with us, man. So
and a lot of what Josh applies to his business. When I first met Josh probably 4.5, 5 years ago. And we've caught up several times since, but a few little pennies dropped when I spoke to Josh about, I've got to apply that to my business. There's a few little golden nuggets. I thought, actually, that is adaptable to my business. Not everything was. And I went home, I reviewed my business, I adapted it, and it changed again exponentially. So growth occurred immediately. And then to finish the day off with Arnie, that's just going to be exceptional. I've been a lifelong fan of Arnie.
Ditto.
The disciplines that he has and has had, and his desire for success, I just can't wait to hear his story. I've watched him on YouTube, and I've still got a few of his videos downloaded here that I listen to when I'm at the gym, and some of the speeches that he's given. I'm pumped about it. I'm excited about it now. Even just watching on YouTube, let alone seeing him in the flesh. It's going to be amazing.
And that's you've brought up a really very valid point, that it's not just us meeting our childhood Predator, Commando, Terminator hero. What he's done physically in success and in real estate. I mean, he bought half of Santa Monica before he was a headliner. So those rules for success are certainly, what's the word? Universal, no matter what field we're in.
I remember reading that he was a property millionaire before he actually became famous, and that was through writing. I think he was doing training manuals, because he was very successful in his bodybuilding and making money out of that.
That's right, and appearances and things like that, and any prize money he just shoved it into property.
Correct. So very, very smart white man with his money. But the principles to do that then still desire more success and in a sense of achievement. And what he has achieved, not only in the box office, but you never heard of you have in the US, but an actor becoming a head of state, being governor of California. Those achievements. But
an immigrant farm boy.
Correct. Absolutely.
What amazed me most about Arnold is the fact that his goals, when he couldn't speak English as a farm boy in Austria, and then he went and did them. So they spanned countries, they spanned demographics and industries, and he just went and did it all. I mean, that stuns me.
And I think he's just, and I think it applied to everything, because a lot of what his teachings and his story are so adaptable to what we do in real estate, or really any industry, any profession. It's about becoming the best you can be, rather than settling for mediocre or giving up. And he's certainly, I think, the most famous success story of someone not giving up and just really applying himself. So I just can't wait I'm glad I'm speaking in the morning so I can relax and then watch him in the afternoon. So it's going to be good.
Excellent, mate. Thank you very much. Well, what would you leave off? I often ask this of guests and stuff, that when I've got the opportunity to meet someone who's at level 10, at the end of their game, looking back on level 1, 2 and 3, those guys, because the majority of our industry are in their first few years in real estate. It's a shame, but we have this high turnover. So what do you say, what's your biggest message to those years 1, 2 and 3 guys who are wanting to, they may not want to do 300 million in volume, they may just want to have a really killer lifestyle with some balance and all of that. But what's your advice to those early starters that you must get asked so often, but it's remiss of me to not ask?
It's a great question. I think I probably answer it differently every time I'm asked the question. And I think it's about knowing in yourself what you've got to give. Because even though we've done extraordinary numbers this year, people go, what's next? And I said, I still have a feeling that I'm running at about 60% of my capacity. I think there's always more. There's always more. And I think if you have that mindset, so you've got to have the right attitude that you can't get to go, how did I get there? I can't repeat that. That every time I hit a benchmark, that's the new normal.
Wow.
Okay, so it doesn't go, okay, oh shit, how did I get here? I can't get there again. It's the new normal.
Wow.
So I'm there, what's next? So I think you've got to have the right attitude. You've got to put in the hours. That's pure and simple. Everyone talks about hard work, but you've got to put in the hard hours, and you've got to put them in efficiently. You can't be just walking the hallways and wasting your time.
So your take on the work-life balance club, at least in those early years?
You've got to, I always talk about, first you've got to build a snowball, and you've got to sit at the top of the mountain with that snowball, and then you've got to push it down.
Yeah.
Those formative years, you're sitting at the top of the mountain, and you are building that snowball. Before you let it push down, momentum will start to build it. You have to. You really got to put in the hours. Yes, you've got to have balance. You've got to have time to yourself. You have time for your family, loved ones, and vacations. Vacations, I sound like a bloody...
Yeah, Yankee, yeah. Too much time hanging with Josh and Beverly Hills.
Correct. You've really got to... Nothing comes without sacrifice. So there's something that's going to be sacrificed in those years to build yourself a reputation, build yourself a business, and obviously build success. And nothing will ever beat the person who has hard work, because I assure you, I'm not the best agent in Australia. I don't have the best dialogue in Australia out of all agents, but I'll tell you what, I've got an amazing work discipline, and I'm incredibly efficient at what I do. I'm just in front of the right people, in front of more people than everybody else, saying the right things. That has led to my success.
Wow. Yeah, mate, I love it, and I'm honoured to be in here. So, mate, looking down the barrel of the camera, say good day to your audience. They're coming to see you. They're coming to see you. The event,
couple of weeks' time.
How do you sign off when you're about to join arguably one of the most star-studded lineups that we've ever had? Certainly, there's your audience, mate. You'll say good day. I'll just say see you later. There's Marcus to sign off for me. It
won't be like Josh's sign off, because I'm not as comfortable in front of a camera than perhaps Josh. But if you're serious about your career, you're serious about moving forward and becoming exceptionally successful, you've got to be there in a fortnight's time. It's going to be one of the best events, not only for this year, but I think that ever has been presented in Australia. The lineup is amazing, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But putting that aside, but what you're going to take away from that event moving forward should set your career up from here on in. So I just implore you, if you're considering it, if you're sitting on the fence, get online today and book your tickets and get up there. It's an insignificant cost for the return it can give you.
Beautiful. Yeah. Folks, Glenn Twiddle signing off. Absolutely honoured and humbled, mate, to be hanging out with you, man.
As always.
Much appreciated.
Thanks again.
See you there, guys. Bye for now.